Welcome back for another live stream, guys. I try to do these every now and then, and maybe once in a while we'll get them to go weekly, but that's not right now. It's been pretty dang busy. So we're basically going to hang out here this evening for about an hour or so, and I'll try and answer some of your questions, see what you guys have to say. And so I want to just start this off by saying that crappie fishing season is pretty much here, and so I've got a fishing video coming up for you guys tomorrow, and it was a good one. So if you guys are looking for something to watch tomorrow, stay tuned because I've got a crappie fishing video coming out, and it's pretty sweet. So stay tuned for that. We got a bunch of people. Holy crap, we got 83 people in here already. Things are picking up. So I want to take some time to answer some of your guys' questions, see what's up, let me know what's going on. Or you guys wanting to see some more crappie fishing videos. It's been super windy here lately, and the weather just hasn't quite cooperated enough for me to get on the water this week. I was out there last week a few times, but not this week. So I'm really looking forward to it, and hopefully I'll be getting out to do some turkey hunting soon, which is I'm really excited about doing that. So I'd see, fish, catch, and cook. I'm wanting to do that. I'm wanting to do that with crappies, maybe some walleyes if I get on a walleye bite. But I'm getting hungry, and I'm trying. So I graduate in less than a month from school. So I'm trying to not buy a whole lot of groceries at this point. So I think a catch and cook would fit right in with that game plan. And I did process some duck meat that I had left in my fridge. I still got a little bit more. So if you guys want to see some duck meat processing videos, let me know, because there's one thing that I haven't done on the channel with duck meat processing that I found out along the way that it's pretty much like the be-all, end-all best way to do it. So stay tuned. I'll make a video on that. Hunting and Fishing Man, thanks for the donation, man. It really helps out. I appreciate it. So what's up with you guys? What have you guys been up to? Any turkey hunting, crappie fishing? What are you guys doing? Nick wants to know if I like hunting or fishing more. Well, I do like hunting a little bit more than fishing, but it kind of, once hunting season goes away, fishing season kind of starts. So it's a good balance of both. And in the wintertime, I'm not going to really go ice fishing. I'm going to go out duck hunting. So I like fishing a lot. I like hunting a lot, but it just depends on the time of year. And then like in the in-between times, like right now there's turkey hunting and then there's fishing, like the spawn. I like to balance both of them. I've never shot a turkey before, so I'm really looking forward to doing that this year. And, I would like to go out and turkey hunt, but I have no clue what I'm doing, so I don't really want to humiliate myself. So, oh, do I nap after hunting? That's a good question. I have taken a few naps, and the naps that you take after a early, like when you get up at 3 in the morning, go and hunt public land until like 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, you get home. It's like nice and warm inside your house. You get under a quilt and you just zonk out. Those are the best naps after a hunt. But most of the time, I don't have that kind of opportunity, especially when I was working a job when last fall. I worked a part-time job up until about December, and I quit that job and started doing this for my job. So I do like taking naps after a hunt, but usually the private land hunts, not so much because I don't wake up as early. But when you get up at like 2:30, 3 o'clock in the morning, a nice nap is definitely needed. I've had a few more donations here. Keaton and Evan, thanks, man. Really appreciate it. It does help out quite a bit. Let's see. What other questions you guys got? How many hours of sleep before a hunt usually? Whoa, that is a good question. It depends. If it's an opening day, it would be probably close to 0 hours of sleep. But normally, once the season kind of gets rolling and I'm not competing with like the early season go-getters, if you plan it out, you can really kind of sleep in on the other end. You go to bed by 8:30, 9 o'clock, get up at 3:30. So let's say 10, 11, 12, 1, 2, 3. 6 to 7 hours of sleep. That's usually pretty doable. But if I go hunt public land, I'm usually up and going by 3 to 3:30, leaving the house by 4 at the latest. And if it's a weekday and I'm hunting out the kayak, I'm usually leaving the house by 5 o'clock, trying to get there by 6 to get shooting light by, I don't know, 6:45, somewhere in there. So I like to give myself a little bit of time, but it's definitely easier to sleep in a little bit if you got a boat. But if you're hiking in, that takes a little bit more time, and you got to worry about the competition as well on public land. So, sleep is a necessity for a duck hunter. I'll tell you guys that much. So do your best to get your sleep, because I've had hunts that just I'm not in it. Like opening day of the late zone, I didn't sleep at all, and it beat me down. I didn't feel good. I wasn't happy, excited about it. So I'm probably not going to pull that many all-nighters again, but sleep is an important part of duck hunting, and you guys got to learn how to manage that. Oh, Grant, thanks for the donation. The best blind snack? That's a tough one. Everybody's got their own cup of tea, but for me, the Old Faithful, always trustworthy, is Pop-Tarts. You can't go wrong with packing Pop-Tarts in your bag. There's been so many times where I'm like in the field and I'm like, oh, I'm getting kind of hungry. And there's always something in my bag. It's usually a thing of Pop-Tarts. Whether they're squished or not, I don't know. But it's better than nothing at all. And hot cup of coffee and Pop-Tarts. But I like to stop at Casey's in the morning, especially if I'm leaving. So the Casey's that I stop at, they don't make pizza until like 4 o'clock in the morning. So if I'm getting to Casey's by like 4:30, I'm grabbing a slice of that breakfast pizza, maybe 2 of them. So that's usually a good luck charm. I shot my banded duck. I got a cup of coffee and 2 slices of breakfast pizza. And what I did, I actually ate the breakfast, 1 slice in the truck driving there. And I saved 1 piece and just kind of kept it in my layout blind until, 8:30 when you're hungry again. You guys know how it is. And I was like, wow, this is good luck. And then after that, for a while, I always grabbed a cup of coffee and 2 slices of breakfast pizza. But if you slide that pizza in those little plastic bags that they give you, you can actually pack those in pretty easily. Ooh, you guys want me to reap a turkey? I think that'd be really cool. It'll be difficult, but I've never shot a turkey before, so I'm really wanting to do the bread and butter, sit in the blind, call it in with the decoys, do all that stuff. Like, I would totally dig reaping a turkey. If you guys don't know what reaping a turkey is, it's when you sneak up on them behind a decoy and they charge at you, and then you pop out and you shoot them. But I'm really not experienced in turkey hunting at all, and I'll be the first to admit that. So I'm really wanting to just accomplish the end goal, is to just shoot a turkey, whether it's a Jake or a Tom. I really don't care. I'm just out there to get a turkey. So what brand of ammo do I use for duck hunting? Anthony asks. Well, I use Federal ammunition, and before that I used Winchester. I never really used the expensive stuff or anything fancy. I mean, with how much I hunt, I blow through it so quick, and having a reliable and cheap shotgun shell is what it comes down to. But with being sponsored by Federal and getting ammunition, that's not really much of a problem anymore. But I shoot Federals because I get them, and I shot Winchesters because they were cheap. But every now and then I would shoot Federals as well. I like the Federal shells quite a bit. So I don't know. Everybody's got their own opinion on shotgun shells, and every gun likes shotgun shells differently, and just shoot what you got. It doesn't really matter as long as you get them in 20. If you get a duck to 25 yards, it doesn't matter if you're shooting heavy X, super heavy tungsten whatevers, or you're shooting the cheapo Walmart specials. If they're at 25 yards and you shoot them with shotgun, they're going down. Okay, good starter equipment for filming hunts. That's a good question. I know there's a lot of guys out there that like to either just film their hunts for personal use, to just go back and watch them, which that's probably the best part of what I do here on YouTube, is being able to have that log of hunts to just go back and watch. And you know, I'm able to look back 3 years ago and look at some of the really crappy footage that I had, but still look back and be like, oh, this is what happened that day, and like narrate it to my friends as they watch it. And, you know, that's really cool. So if you're wanting to get into filming your hunts, the best thing I can tell you to do is just get a GoPro. But something to be mindful about with a GoPro is that the batteries die pretty quick. And the colder it gets, the faster those batteries will die. With my GoPros, I think I've got like 8 batteries or something like that. They usually last me on like, you know, probably 30-degree weather. They'll last me an hour or so, hour or two, hour and a half at the most. So I'd say get a GoPro. You don't need anything fancy. Just get the regular old GoPro. They're pretty good as is right now. If you watch my fishing videos, the GoPro that I mount on like the front of the kayak or the canoe, that's just the basic Hero kayak or the Hero GoPro. So it's like $160, something like that. It's not like the Hero 7 Black with all of this Pro Tune and all that. You don't need it. You just need something to record some video. So I would say save some money. Don't buy the highest end GoPro you can get. Get the cheap one and then invest in a few batteries, and that'll last you throughout a hunt. And make sure to get an SD card that'll hold a lot of memory. I use 64 gigabytes, and I can get 4 hours of footage on a 64 gigabyte SD card. So if you're looking to film your hunts, I'd say use a GoPro and invest your money in batteries and SD cards. That's going to really help you out in the long run. If you're looking to, you know, get a camera like this one, start with an entry-level one, see if you like it, get to know it, and then build your way up. I've gone through this is my 3rd DSLR now, and this is a Canon 80D. I got this for like $1,200, and then the mic is, it's not the best mic in the world. This is like the cheapy Rode mic, and it's like $50, but I like it better than the $250 mic that I used before. So do your research, look around. I'd say if you're just getting into it, film on your phone for whatever you would film on this, and then use a GoPro for whatever else. The GoPros are pretty much the bread and butter. They capture a lot. You don't have to worry. You don't have to worry about focus or any of that stuff. It does it all for you. So if you're looking to film a hunt, that's my advice for you. Let's see. You guys got some good questions, or are you just chit-chatting in the comments? Have I ever killed a banded duck, Jason asks. Yes, I did. I killed a banded duck this year. You should go back and watch that video. It's pretty sweet. I shot it with that gun right there, the second one down. That is my CZ Upland Ultralight. It's an over-under shotgun. It was just a little farm pond, you know, shoot a few ducks. Cool. It was just a good time being out there, but first duck I shot that day was banded. So it was a good hunt. The least expected thing to happen that day, and you know that's kind of how it always goes. So if you haven't watched that video, go ahead and go watch it. It's pretty cool. And then 2 banded geese, Canada geese this season back in December. So there's 2 more bands. And then on the snow goose hunt that I went on this year, we shot a banded snow goose as well. Bo wants to know if I plan to deer hunt. So deer hunting for me is something that I want to do, but I don't necessarily have the time to do it right now. I've got a property that my family owns. There's always deer on it. And, you know, I just got to make my way up there to, you know, kind of clear shooting lanes, set up blinds, do all that stuff. And if I'm able to do that, I'll probably be able to shoot a deer, but it's not necessarily super high on my list right now. Migratory birds are kind of my thing. So doves and ducks and geese, that's my thing. And deer hunting, just all the work starts when you pull the trigger. And it doesn't really appeal to me. But you do get a freezer full of really good meat. So I don't know. I would definitely try it, but it's not super high on my list of priorities. I think my biggest thing right now is going and shooting a turkey. Oh, a good pair of waders, Hunter wants to know. So I've gone through a lot of waders, and if you guys hunt as much as I do, you're going to blow through waders no matter what. And so this past season, I started using breathable waders. And after using breathable waders, I will never go back to neoprene ever in my life. And you just have so much more increased mobility. They're warmer. They're just an all-around better pair of waders to wear. But when I went trout fishing last weekend, I found out that my waders do leak, and I'm kind of disappointed about that. But I got my waders from Rogers. The Rogers Tough Man insulated breathable waders. And Rogers does a 1-year warranty on their waders. So one of these days, I'm going to have to go up to Rogers. And luckily, I live close to Rogers, so it's just an hour drive away from when I'm back at my parents' house. And going to have to go up there, and I'll exchange my waders for a new pair. But I don't think there's anything you can do to extend the life of your waders. And, you know, I'm lucky to get 2 years out of a pair of waders. In my own personal experience, what I found after a season, most waders are pretty much done. But I would recommend breathable waders. That's just me from my own personal experiences using breathable and neoprene. So I haven't really noticed much of a durability difference between breathable and neoprene. I was kind of skeptical about the breathables at first because it's just a new material. It's different. It's not what you're used to with seeing waders. And after trying them, they do hold up pretty well. And the leak in my waders, it's not bad. Like, my leg did get wet. But with the breathable waders, especially the insulated ones, I've found that I didn't notice the leak in my waders because I think the insulation that you zip into them. So my waders, you can have no insulation, you can have a medium level of insulation and a heavy level of insulation, and you zip them in and out. But I think the insulation acted as kind of like a barrier between my leg and the outside of the waders where the water was coming in, and the insulation kind of soaked up that water, and I didn't notice it as much. So the leak, it's not bad. It's just like a pinhole leak, and you know, it soaks your pants, but it's not like I've had a leak in my waders where my boot fills up. It's nothing like that. Okay, let's see what you guys are saying. How good do I think the duck hunting will be this year? Well, I hope it's good. And I've seen a lot of stuff on like Facebook forums and stuff like that where people down south are getting mad because the ducks don't make their way down there, and everybody's blaming it on heated ponds and flooded corn and all that stuff. But if you stop to think about it a little bit, ducks migrate because of cold weather and a little bit because of the phases of the sun and the length of the days. But if it's not cold, the ducks are probably not going to migrate as far. So they like to kind of sit right on that freeze line where they have open water, they have access to food. If they have that, they're going to stick around for a while. Oh, that's a good question. Utah Duck Assassins. He asks if I ever guide hunts, and I don't guide hunts necessarily. So I guide hunts for people that I know, or people that know people that I know, if that makes any sense. So if my buddy John Doe has a buddy, let's say Blake, well, John Doe is going to hunt with me regardless, and Blake wants to tag along with John, or John wants Blake to tag along, or whatever. That's not a big deal to me. I don't really care. But I'm not going to take some random person from Wyoming and say, hey, come on down and duck hunt with me for $400 a hunt. That's not my style. I don't want to put that pressure on myself. I'd rather focus my time in this than on guiding hunts. So that's just how I am. I don't think there's ever going to be a time where I'm guiding necessarily. I'll guide for people that I know, but I won't take money from people to take them out. That's not my thing. What choke tubes do I recommend? So that's a hot topic in duck hunting as well. Everybody wants the best choke tube to decapitate their ducks. And all I got to say is you can shoot a full choke, you can shoot a modified choke, you can shoot an improved cylinder, you can shoot a cylinder choke. The thing that matters is how close you get those ducks in. But the best all-around choke tube that I recommend is using a modified choke. I only shoot a modified unless I'm turkey hunting, then I'm shooting a full choke. But with ducks and geese, a modified choke will suit you just fine. Whether you get an aftermarket one or you stick with the one that's in your gun, you will probably be fine. And I don't think that you need the tightest pattern in the world to kill a duck, because it only takes one BB to take one down. And yeah, you might notice a difference with your choke tubes and saying, oh, we had less cripples and all this stuff. But if you get them into a good distance, you know, you're going to be fine. And I shoot a Kicks high flyer out of my shotgun simply from the matter of, like, my Mossberg shotgun, the choke tube seized up in it. I could not get it out. It still can't come out. So I got the extended choke, the chokes that stick out at the end of the barrel. So then if that does happen, and, you know, I'm taking better precautions than I did back then, I'm able to put vice grips on it and crank it out. So it's not a big deal. But I don't think it really matters that much that you shoot, I shoot a Carlson's, I shoot a, what are they called? Shoot, the Code Blacks. What are they? It doesn't matter. I'm sure you guys know what I mean. Pattern Master. That's it. I don't think that really makes that big of a difference to your hunting. And unless you're taking 90-yard shots on ducks, you'll be fine with whatever came with your gun, or it's all up to you. But I shoot a modified Kicks high flyer. Okay, so how often do I clean my gun? During the season, I usually like to clean it at least once a week. But if it gets dirty, there's crap in it, there's dirt in there, I try to clean it up as best as I can. But, you know, sometimes you do get busy. But the biggest thing I can tell you guys is, when you get, at least do this. When you get home, take your gun out of the case and just leave it there, wipe it down with a towel real quick. Because if you leave your gun in the case, it's going to rust. And there's nothing you can do about it. My gun's got a little bit of rust from doing that on it. My old Supernova, rest in peace, wherever that thing went, that had some rust on it from that same thing. So when you get home, take it out of the case and then just give it a quick wipe down. You don't even need to use oil or anything. Just get the moisture off of it, and that should do pretty good. Unless you know, you got a bunch of stuff in the chamber and in the action and all that. But, you know, if you're able to just wipe it down when you get home and leave it out of the case, that's pretty good precautionary measure to prevent rust on your gun. Now with the camo guns, I don't have any experience with those. I'm too cheap to buy one, so I don't know how well those hold up with rust, but I can't imagine it's very good to leave it in a case and just hope for the best. So when you get home, take it out of the case. Ooh, a good layout blind for beginners. There's so many of them out there, man. If you're looking for a cheap one, look at Rogers. Rogers makes excellent gear, so check those out. I personally use a Greenhead Gear Ground Force blind. It's not the biggest thing in the world, but it's not a sleeping bag blind. So there's two main types of layout blinds out there. I don't know if they're called this or not, but you got your sleeping bag style and you got your frame style. So your sleeping bag style, they don't have a metal frame in them. They usually have like this little thing that flips over your face and covers it. And the rest of the blind is just like a sleeping bag, but it's camo. And then you've got your frame blinds where you got to piece some stuff together whether it's like putting pins in and lining up the holes and all that, or just sliding a couple bars together. I personally prefer the frame blinds. That's just my personal preference. I know a lot of people that like the sleeping bag style because of the low profile. They have their pros and cons, but if you're looking for all-around comfortability, I'd go with one with a frame. I recommend the Greenhead Gear because it's held up to the use and abuse that I put it through. but I found out this year that A-frames work a lot better than layout blinds. So up to you. If you want to get a layout blind, check out Rogers. They make the Goose Busters low profile and then the regular Goose Busters. Those are great blinds. They're under $200. My greenhead gear, I like it a lot. Check it out. It's a good blind as well. But I would rather hunt out of an A-frame than a layout blind any day of the week. Okay. Do I plan on doing any fishing videos, Evan? Yes, I plan on it, and I have been. Where you been, man? That's like all I've been posting for like the past 2 weeks is fishing videos. So be sure to go check those out. I'm really getting into crappie fishing this year. I've never gotten into crappie fishing before. I was always bass fishing, and I never like had the ambition to go out and crappie fish. But this year, things have changed. My mindset has changed, and I want to learn something new with fishing because I've been fishing my whole life, always been bass fishing, and I wanted to try out crappie fishing for once. And now that I've started it, it's a lot of fun. So go ahead, check out the videos. If you guys have any tips for crappie fishing, be sure to let me know, especially when it comes to like electronics. I'm not an expert with electronics. I just started fishing with them this year. So if you guys have tips for me to help find schools of crappie or, you know, any places to look for crappie, water temps, depths, that kind of stuff, let me know because I'm always open to learning new things. Bailey, I do not ever use a flute call for geese. I can't blow one. I've never learned. I don't think they sound as good as the short reeds. Do I ever jam out to 80s hair metal bands driving around? I don't. I can't say I've done that. Let's see what you guys are also saying here. Any other questions? Okay, sorry, I'm reading a lot right now. Oh, that's a good question, Ethan. Do I enjoy fishing out of the kayak more than land? I do. I prefer it just because I'm not having to walk around all the time and I'm able to use my electronics, which really does help out quite a bit. But I don't know. I like fishing out of the kayak because I can just put all my gear in it. It's all within one arm's reach, and I'm not having to carry a backpack, worry about carrying 6 rods with me and all that stuff. So I do enjoy fishing out of the kayak quite a bit. And he also wants to know where to go. So I think, yeah, will I ever buy a bigger boat with blind and everything? So I don't know. I don't know if I'm going to buy a boat with a blind, and it'd be neat. I don't necessarily have a place to use it. So the kayak is a little bit more versatile for me because I'm able to not worry about having a big duck boat. And especially if I'm going by myself, it's kind of silly to take a whole big rig out there by yourself. But I think I will prefer the kayak for a while over a duck boat, but maybe sometime 10 years down the road, I'll invest in one. But I think the biggest thing that would influence me to get a duck boat is so that I can hunt faster moving rivers. Because honestly, I would be a little sketched out taking a kayak on a river. So the only way I could possibly do a kayak on a river is to drop in on, you know, upstream side and then have another vehicle down on the downstream side where I go, drop in, float down, set up, hunt, float down again, and pull out. So I think that'd be really cool to do. I don't have the capability to do that right now, but that's kind of the only reason why I would buy a big duck boat, because everywhere else I would hunt, the kayak will do just fine. Ooh, Elliot wants to know the distance I set up from the decoys to the blind. That really kind of depends on the situation, but most of the time, I don't set decoys more than 20 yards away from the blind. I like getting them in close. I like shooting them in the lips. So if I'm in my kayak, and especially if I'm set up in a marsh where there's tall grass and like a pocket of water, I'm literally pretty much sitting in the decoys. Same thing with a field spread. I prefer to be in the decoys with a field spread. And, you know, if you get geese to land short, you still have a chance at them. So I like to set up pretty close to the decoys. I know other people like to set up 30 yards away. It's all personal preference. I just know my shooting abilities, and I know what I like to do. I like to work the ducks and geese to get them in close. Do I get any black ducks? I do not. They don't really come in my flyway. I'd like to shoot black duck. It'd be really cool to shoot one in the central flyway, but they're more on the Atlantic flyway. Ooh, Lincoln wants to know if I like hunting in groups or by myself. That's a tough question. It depends on the size of the group. I don't really like hunting more than 4 people. So if I got a good group of guys, I'm honestly going to prefer hunting with that good group of like 4 guys. But the solo kayak hunts are pretty sweet. But, you know, duck hunting is it's a pretty social sport, and we all have our hunting buddies that we like to go with. So, you know, it all depends on the day. If I'm able to get into a really tight honey hole and get in there by myself, shoot my limit real quick, I'm going to take that any day. But it's kind of nice to have people to hunt with too. Darren wants to know if I recommend the redhead kayak blend. I do. That's what I use. I don't really have any complaints with it right now. I'm working on a project with it right now. I filmed that video today, so you guys will get a close look at it in a few days or so. Oh, he asked me a question that I get asked quite a bit, is how early do you start scouting? Well, I would say it depends on what you're kind of looking for. So you can do your scouting, like if you're looking for a field hunt, you need to see it the day before. But if you're looking, you know, just to see what's around, you can do that whenever. And it gives you kind of an idea. Let's say you have like 3 areas that you hunt and they're all kind of spaced out pretty far away. You know, we're talking 30, 40 miles apart. I would say go out a week before just to see what all's going on and pay attention to the weather, because the weather will make a difference. If you got a cold front moving in, those birds that you're going to scout on Monday probably won't be there on Saturday. So if you got a cold front moving in, scout accordingly, scout after the cold front comes in. And if you can, get out and hunt that same day that cold front is coming through, because that's going to be some really good duck hunting. But if you're going to scout, I'd say look the day before for anything really. If you're looking marsh, lake, whatever, look the day before, because they're probably going to be back tomorrow. But if you're just wanting to get a general idea, I'd say no more than a week, and then judge it accordingly to the weather. Okay, we're getting a little long here. I mean, it's only been 30 minutes, but it's about 9:30 right now. So we'll take one more question and we'll sign off here. I want to get a good question for the last one. Sorry if I'm being boring here. Okay, Chris, that's a good question. I get that one all the time. Do I have any interest in getting a dog? I do have an interest in it. I just don't have an interest in it right this second. Like, I would really love to have a dog, believe me. But where I am at right now, I'm going to be moving out of college here in less than a month. I'm going to be living at home. I just won't have, I won't be settled down enough to get a dog and train it and make it a hunting dog. I don't have that kind of time right now. So ideally what's going to happen about a year from now, hopefully if everything goes right, I'll get a dog. But right now I I can't do it right now. I don't want to sacrifice everything right now just to train a dog. And I'm going through a lot of big life changes with graduating college, getting a job, and moving. So now is not the right time, and hopefully a year from now will be the right time to get a dog. And I always wanted a Springer Spaniel. I always have, always will. But right now, I think the best decision is to get a lab. It seems so stereotypical. A duck hunter gets a lab, but they're great dogs. They're going to do what I want them to do. And I'm looking at getting a yellow lab is what I really want to get. So I'm really looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to bringing you guys along with that journey, but we're going to have to wait a little bit for that one. So that is it for today's live stream. I'm going to cut it off a little early today, but if you guys want to see more live streams, be sure to smash that like button for me. And I've got a video coming out tomorrow. It's an awesome crappie fishing video, so be sure to stay tuned for that one, and I will catch you guys later.